Hi, this is Jenna Margosian, and you are watching my presentation for a unit for second graders titled Healthy Foods and Choices. Now obviously the standards for this unit involve the health standards for second grade, but more specifically the ones focusing on the food pyramid and the 6 food groups. These also discuss making healthy choices, distinguishing healthy foods and healthy snacks in a variety of settings. Throughout the unit, language arts, science, and technology standards will also be utilized. For language arts, reading, writing, and also listening and speaking standards are included. As students interpret charts and diagrams, they write a friendly letter, compose a narrative, and recount past experiences. In terms of science, students are conducting several experiments with food, and the standards addressed in this unit involve them making predictions based on observations. And lastly, all 6 of the technology areas are included and utilized in my unit, but I will delve into that more in a little bit. A quick overview, I have 4 sections in this unit. First, the food group, then healthy versus unhealthy, personal diet analysis, and lastly, sample diets and simulations. Now the first section on the food pyramid lasts about 1 week, and this is where students get their basic foundation of what the food pyramid is, and understanding of the 6 food groups. The technology used during this time are smart boards, the internet, Excel, PowerPoint, Word, and also digital camera. Although all levels of Bloom's are included in all 4 sections of this unit, this week really focuses on knowledge and comprehension. And just to give an example for a knowledge-based lesson, students are actually going to convert their body on one of the days into a food pyramid. So they'll be taking colored tape and sort of sectioning off their head as one section of the food pyramid. Maybe that'll be fruit. Their feet will be another section in a different color. The feet are the smallest, so probably that should be oils and fats. And when they're all done, we're going to take a picture and put this into a Word document, and they are going to go in and type labels for each section of representing each food group, and then list several foods for each food group. So the technology is included for students to document, this project that they've done. And this lesson will hit kinesthetic, intrapersonal, verbal, and visual learners. Now, this is just an example of one lesson. All lessons in this unit, in this week, will address all 8 of the intelligences. Now for the next section, healthy versus unhealthy, this lasts 2 weeks, and students are going through a series of lessons where they're going to distinguish either meals, snacks, or just different foods as healthy or unhealthy. So there's a couple pictures on the bottom. One is animal fries from In-N-Out, or ants on a log with celery, peanut butter, and raisins. Which would be a healthy snack and which would be the unhealthy choice. That kind of a thing. And this section really is honing in on comprehension, application, and analysis for students. They will be using Audacity and iTunes to create podcasts. They will make PowerPoint presentations, start blogs, and use Excel for utilizing technology during these 2 weeks. Now, all 8 of the intelligences are also addressed, but in one specific lesson focusing on comprehension, interpersonal, intrapersonal, musical, and verbal intelligences are highlighted as students choose a favorite healthy food and create a short song or chant where they give nutrition facts for that food. They detail what section or what food group in the food pyramid that food belongs, how many servings you need of that food every day, things like that. And we use technology to record their songs as podcasts and post them on the website so they can listen to each other's and also share with their families. The third section in my unit is a personal diet analysis, and this lasts 2 weeks because the first week students are just inputting data from what they're eating every day into a program called Nutrition Tracker on the internet. And so these 2 weeks will have students analyzing, synthesizing, and evaluating the different foods that they're eating. So Nutrition Tracker will give students an output of data that they will analyze and interpret. They will take this analysis and synthesize this information into a friendly letter that they're going to write to either a friend or a family member, detailing what the output has told them about their diet. What is good? What are they eating enough of? What are they lacking? And they're also going to give a few recommendations for themselves. And this also hits the evaluation as they look at their own personal diet and sort of recognize their faults and strengths. Now, these lessons do not focus on all 8 intelligences. They include interpersonal, intrapersonal, logical, and verbal. And the different technologies throughout these 2 weeks are the internet with Nutrition Tracker, a blog that students are maintaining, Word, and also podcasts. The last section of this unit is titled Sample Diets and Simulations, and during this week students are going to view sample diets and sort of evaluate them as healthy or unhealthy. They're going to provide missing elements for diets to make them balanced. They're also going to participate in simulations where they are creating meals or coming up with healthy snacks depending on the situation. Now, specifically for Bloom's, this hits the synthesis and evaluation. And an example of an evaluation lesson is actually the culminating lesson in this unit, where students participate in a restaurant simulation. And this would likely take place during lunchtime, and there's a variety of foods that would be placed either in the cafeteria or in the classroom, and students would walk around and select like 3 or 4 or 5 items to create a balanced meal. So they're evaluated on their meal. They also then create a podcast about this experience and how it could relate to their everyday life. And then they create a menu item that gives a detailed description and a picture of what their balanced meal is. So the technology used throughout this week is word processing, podcasts, digital camera, and the internet. And this week happens to address all 8 of the intelligences. Now, as I said, I was going to go back to technology. All 6 of the standards for technology are incorporated, and the only ones that weren't included were ones that involve processes that most likely are going to be used for upper grades, because these children, they are young and they are, learning and establishing a foundation for using these tools. So things like learning cultural or global understanding through technology, or doing some very detailed research with the internet, and also learning advanced techniques with the softwares. Those things are probably going to be for the older kids. Right now we're just getting the basics. So those standards were not included, but nearly every technology standard possible is included. Now, I had someone view this unit and ask me, is this appropriate for 2nd grade? Can 2nd graders do this? And my answer is absolutely yes. Although these different things might seem ambitious, I believe that with proper instruction, introduction, and practice, students of all ages can learn to use the latest technologies to aid in their learning process and also to illustrate their knowledge. This unit continuously incorporates Word, Excel, PowerPoint, podcasts, and blogs for a reason. I want students to emerge from this unit not only learning the health standards and practicing their language and science skills, but also learning these technologies and how to use them and the things that they can do with them. Lastly, in terms of professional development, my current instructional delivery abilities, I would say, have greatly improved after looking at all this technology, looking again at Bloom's taxonomy and at multiple intelligences, and I have a fresh perspective of the different technologies out there and how to utilize them in each level of Bloom's. So my students are being challenged with their knowledge, and also how to utilize them for each intelligence so all my students' needs are being met. For future instructional delivery, I am very anxious and excited for what's coming next, and I would say I'm willing to try almost every technology and to try to find a way to adapt it for learning for students. And that kind of segues into student projects. I don't believe we should be assessing students solely on pencil and paper. I understand we have to do different state testing and things like that, but I think anything that can get students up and moving and or using technology are great ways to assess and evaluate what they're learning, and I am more than willing to create assessments that include technology. And lastly, I have learned so much about technology and just the things that are out there and how to, as I said previously, adapt and tweak different things in a lesson to include the technology, also to make sure more than one intelligence is addressed so that students can have a cohesive presentation of information, and also so that my lessons are addressing all levels of blooms so that students' minds are being challenged and poked and prodded so they're actually thinking about what they're learning and not just memorizing it. So that is all for this presentation on my second grade unit of healthy choices and foods. Thank you for listening.